Hey, what's up, Facebook? It's Dean coming to you live from my quarantine headquarters here in Georgetown, Kentucky. Sorry for the little bit of delay there, trying to get. I've been having technical issues all day with my internet and software and all this other stuff, so I am thankful that I'm able to do this. So, just for the ones who are watching for the first time, I want to introduce myself. My name is James Dean. I'm the owner of James Dean Rocks Music School here in Georgetown, Kentucky. If you're watching right now, give me some comments down there where you're watching from, whether it be your home, what state, city. We are worldwide. This broadcast is worldwide, and I'd love to know where everyone's listening and watching. We've been doing a couple of these through the last couple of weeks, and I'm really excited because it gives me opportunity for my students. Number one is the reason I did it. They can get on and hear some talented musicians, but I also wanted to be able to share how important music is to me and my friends, and this is what this is all about. It's a time to have some wonderful, good, wholesome, fun entertainment on this quarantine negative time we're in, right? So I'm excited that we're able to do this. Hey, if I need you guys to do me a favor, if you're watching on Facebook, if you get the opportunity, go out there to YouTube, and you can actually find us. It's real simple. Just go out to YouTube and look up James Dean Rocks Music School. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I've only got 44. I got a long way to go. So if you guys can do that, yes, I know you're watching on Facebook right now. Some of you guys are watching on YouTube. But if you get an opportunity to go out and do that, I would appreciate it. It'll be a cool thing to have 1,000 subscribers. But also, if you haven't liked our James Dean Rocks Music School on Facebook, do that also. This is a good opportunity for me to share my school and what we do. And we have student concerts. I think we had 3 last week. This Tuesday night, if you're going to be around, my good friend George Moulton will be on here. So you don't want to miss George. If you don't know who George is, look him up. He's a singer-songwriter from here in Georgetown, Kentucky, who's had artists like John Michael Montgomery cover his songs. He's an amazing artist. So you're going to get the opportunity to hear some of his songs and banter. So check that out. And then on Wednesday night, we got a big show lined up. I'm not even going to tell you on here who it is. If you want to know, you need to go out to my Facebook and look and see who. I'm just joking. Grayson Jenkins. If you haven't heard Grayson, oh my goodness, another local artist who has just really blossomed in country music world, and he is a local guy. He's actually from Western Kentucky, and he lives here now in Central Kentucky. You need to go check him out. That's going to be Wednesday night at 9 o'clock also. So you guys need to get out there. Looks like we've got some people saying hi. Oh, this guy's Trouble right here. Let me take this banner off. Let me do this. This guy right here is Trouble. This is Steve Moody. He's a good friend of mine. Worked at Centos together. He's saying howdy. We also got a beautiful Ashley Krause. I wonder if she's single. Her boyfriend looks really cute. And then we also got Stephanie Jill Giles from Midway. She's got her mask on. So here's how this works. This is an entertaining night. If you have comments or questions, let me know and we'll make it happen. And we're really excited that we have this opportunity. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing tonight. My good friend, Blake Jones, who is a wonderful, amazing person, and I said this before that if you know who Blake Jones is, you know without a doubt that his smile is contagious and his personality just is as much, and all that comes through with his songs. Oh, I agree. Blake is amazing, and what's funny about this, I'd asked Blake a couple of weeks ago about doing a tribute to. Oh, it blew my mind. We just did this 2 weeks ago, and we did a tribute. Blake, I'm losing my mind here already. It's one of those kind of days. But anyway, my goodness, it's been that kind of day with all the technology. So anyway, he had said to me, and I didn't even know this. Oh, I think I froze. Technology, I love it. Anyway, so we went and did a show, and he talked to me a little bit about what he wanted to do again the next time. And anytime that I had someone that said, "Well, tell me a little bit about Blake Jones," I'm like, "Man, he's like James Taylor. He's butter when he plays, when he sings." And when Blake said, "I want to do some James Taylor," I'm like, "That's exactly who I tell everyone you sound like." So, without much ado, and hopefully that technology holds up tonight, let me introduce to you my good friend, Blake Jones. What's up, Blake?
Hey, James Dean, what's going on?
Oh, this technology is making me mad.
Dude, you can't live without it though. It's your bread and butter.
It
You gotta do
is.
it.
But this delay with the video, we might go back to creepy video here in a moment. We'll see. All right, so Blake, thank you for getting on here tonight. We appreciate you taking this time this late in the evening to do this and share some wonderful, wonderful words to us and through music, and also share some stories. Right? We're going
Yep,
to talk a little bit about James Taylor
yep.
and spend just a little time having a great, great, great evening. Looks like we've already got some comment. I already said a little bit. Stephanie looks like she might be stalking you.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. They're good folks.
They look like good folks.
They're
And
the good
then,
kind of stalkers.
oh, love Grayson Jenkins. I've got Grayson will be here next Wednesday evening. Uh, I talked to him already, so we're gonna have that. And then we got, oh, look at this.
Thanks, Retta.
Retta's already. She says she's known you for years.
That's the truth. That's true.
Well, Blake's only 15, so you've only known him the last 15 years. Then
Yeah, yep.
we'll leave it at that. All right. So Blake, why James Taylor?
Well, I know this is a brief show tonight. We're going to keep it around 30 minutes or so. So I won't go on and on, but to me, James Taylor is kind of everything that I want to be in a musician. He's kind, he's humble, he's talented, he's just an amazing songwriter. And but what I really love about his story, and we can get into this later, is his rise from addiction and depression and anxiety and just the struggles that we all kind of have had in our lives. And he uses music um, to rise above that and to really talk through his music to the people that are listening to him. You know, he's not one of those guys that goes out on stage every night and talks about his recovery from addiction, but in the music that I'm going to play tonight, you hear addiction, you hear depression, you hear lots of struggles in his life that he's kind of worked out through music. So that's what I love about him. And his guitar playing is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I can't. He's just a musical hero of mine.
I'm there with you. I think that a lot of us in this music world, we are one of those groups of people that your highs are really high and your lows are really low. There's no middle ground. That's what makes us so emotional when it comes to music. So I know that James, we're going to talk a little bit about that more later, but and we deal with depression and how we deal with it.
Mhm.
Well, let's just jump right in here. What is the first song that you're going to do?
Well, of course, James was born in Boston, Massachusetts, but when he was 3, he moved down to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. His dad was the dean or the head of the medical school at UNC, and he moved the whole family down to Chapel Hill. So they moved from this big city of Boston down to this, you know, little town of Chapel Hill back in the 60s. And he fell in love with North Carolina and left there, you know, to go. He met the Beatles in England, and he made some music all over the world. But he missed North Carolina and he missed Chapel Hill, so he wrote this song called "Carolina in My Mind," and which is one of my favorites. And I'll do that one for you.
You know, Blake, I didn't tell you this earlier, and I wanted to leave it to share this with you. Um, I told you this is one of the first songs I learned on guitar, and as the most complicated songs I learned on guitar. But about 3 or 4 years ago, so that song always had a special meaning, but about 3 or 4 years ago, and I'll put this up, um, this is something I got in remembrance of my niece who took her own life.
Mm.
And she was a musician, artistic person, 18 years old, and her name was Carolina.
Oh,
So
wow.
this song now has such a different meaning for me because
Mm.
I sing this song and it takes me to, in my mind, I'm going to Carolina. That's
Oh,
what I
wow.
think about. So just so I wanted to share it. Oh, got cold chills. With that said, let's give it up to Blake and allow him to bless us with his beautiful voice and his beautiful guitar playing.
Well, in my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Well, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Karen, she's a silver sun. Walk her way, watch it shine. Watch her watch the morning come. A silver tear appearing says I'm crying. I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. There ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. Whisper something soft and kind. Hey babe, the sky's on fire. I'm dying. I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? And can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Well, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Yes, with a holy host of others standing around me, and still I'm on the dark side of the moon. And it looks like it goes on like this forever. You must forgive me if I'm up and gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? And can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Well, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
Give me just a moment. Love that song. Oh. All right, Blake. Have you ever met James Taylor?
Oh, I came close. I came real close last fall. I think you've got the picture there. I
There it
came
is.
that close to meeting James Taylor. So my buddy Mike Allen and I were at the Ryman Auditorium listening to Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder. There's Mike. And, we were just jamming on some bluegrass and having a great old time. And Ricky from the stage said, there's a guy here that I did a record with a few years ago. and I was trying to figure out like who he's talking about. I just, Ricky's sung with so many people, and he said it was a record called New Star Shining. And I looked at Mike and I'm like, you got to be kidding! You can't be real that James Taylor is here. And right then they brought the lights up, and I look over, and there he is, just a few feet from us, and standing up. And it was amazing just to be in the same room. I mean, I've seen him in concert and things, but he was just, I got to tell you, he was absolutely loving. And this was hardcore bluegrass, ripping it up, banjo, mandolin, fiddle. He was having the best time that night. Just the look on his face, the love that he had for that music and that place was so cool to see. It was really cool.
It looks like he was sitting pretty far back.
Yeah, no, he was, and he's James Taylor. I mean, he could have set up on stage, or, he was just among, this was you can kind of see if you've been to the Ryman, this is up in the balcony, really, he was up there with the rest of us, just sitting there in one of those old pews, hanging out. I think he had his son with him, just enjoying some bluegrass music.
It seems like he's a very humble man, for sure.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what do you think you'd like to do for us next?
I think I had planned to do Country Road.
Okay.
He, grew up in North Carolina and in the country there, and just wrote a lot of songs about Country Road. I think we're going to talk about my Uber experience here in a minute, but I'll sing this song for you, one of his big hits called Country Road.
All right, brother, take it away.
Take to the highway, won't you lend me your name? Your way and my way seem to be one and the same. Mama don't understand it, wants to know where I've been. I have to see some kind of natural born fool to want to walk on the road again, but I can feel it, yeah. On a country road, sail on home to Jesus, won't you, good girls and boys? I'm all in pieces, you can have my choice. I can see a heavenly band full of angels are coming to set me free. Don't know nothing about the wild wind, but I can't tell you that it's bound to be, 'cause I can feel it, yeah. On a country road, walk on down, walk on down, walk on down, walk on down the country road. Walk on down, walk on down, walk on down, walk on down the country road. So take to the highway, won't you lend me your name? Your way and my way seem to be one and the same. Mama don't understand it, wants to know where I've been. Have to be some kind of natural born fool to want to walk on the road again, but I can feel it, yeah. Country road, walk on down, walk on down, walk on down, walk on down the country road. Walk on down, walk on down, walk on down, walk on down the country road.
Great job, brother. Great job.
Thank you.
Sometimes I forget about that song. Like, it's not the first one I think of for James Taylor.
Yeah.
I forget how good that is. You had a few more comments I'll throw up there for you can see. Look at Michael. Michael gave you some love, gave some
Thanks,
shout outs.
thanks, brother.
And then Mikey Allen, he just wanted to give you a little smile. And Stephanie is giving you applause.
Thanks.
All right, so talking about a country road in the middle of nowhere. I think it's a great opportunity to talk about your crazy experience with the Uber driver.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Mohammed. I think it was Mohammed.
All right,
Yeah.
this is Muhammad.
That's Mohammed. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I had to go to Chapel Hill to speak at a conference or something. I don't even remember what I was doing. Um, I do remember that I got to the airport. It was about 6 in the morning in Cincinnati, and I reached back to get my license, and I didn't have my wallet. And I didn't think I was going to get to Chapel Hill, and I had to speak at this big conference and stuff. And they mercifully they let me fly there, but I had to Uber everywhere. I didn't have my license. I had my wallet, but no license. So anyway, I had to Uber everywhere. And I had planned on going down there and finding James Taylor's boyhood home. I found the address online. I thought, man, I love this guy so much. I'm just going to go there and just watch, just look at this place where he grew up. And so got an Uber and we drove and drove all these back roads and everything. And it wasn't taking us to this address. And I'm like, man, it's okay. It's fine. I was just really disappointed, but he's like, no, we're not going to give up. And kept driving and driving. And finally I looked over and there it was. And that's his boyhood home behind us. And of course, he grew up in a big family. His whole family is very musical. His brother, Livingston Taylor, is an amazing guitar player, songwriter. He has several brothers who are great songwriters and players. His son, Ben, product of Carly Simon and James's marriage, is a great player. And it's really weird because they have that kind of raspy voice that they all sound like James, or maybe he all sounds like them or something.
Right.
If you listen to Livingston Taylor and close your eyes, you think
that's James.
That's James, or a close relative, and it's pretty amazing. But that was a cool experience, and Muhammad was really cool about it, and I educated him a little bit about James Taylor, and he taught me some things about. I think he was in med school, so we talked about med school, and I learned some stuff from him too. So
I got two questions. Actually, one question and then one comment. How much did that Uber ride cost you?
I don't even remember, but I was ready to pay whatever it costs.
Hopefully you tipped him well.
I did tip him well, and he was very nice to get his picture and everything.
I think sometimes that, you're talking about Muhammad, not knowing who James Taylor is. Ashley's going to kill me for talking about her, but I said the other day, I'm like, Blake's going to do some James Taylor, and she was like, I don't know who that is. And then I'm like, really? You don't know James Taylor? She's like, no. I'm like, I pull up Spotify. I'm like, do you know this song? Yeah, I know that song. Do you know this song? Yeah. Do you know that's James Taylor? Wait, I know all James Taylor songs. She just didn't know him by name. And I think that's a lot of people that might be watching this for the first time. They're like, who's this James Taylor? And then you sing these songs and it all comes back.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like John Prine the last time.
John Prine. I was trying to say his name earlier. My goodness, It's been that kind of day.
Both of their catalogs are so deep, and you kind of forget, like, just the songs, the hundreds of songs really that James has written over the years. It's very deep catalog.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's get into your next song, which is appropriate because you guys were wandering around, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to do which song next?
I'm going to do an old song of his from the 70s called Wondering. And, it's kind of, I think maybe it's a folk song, but I'm not sure about that. I should have researched that. But he added a couple of verses to it. You know how folk songs are. You take the core of the song and then you add your own three or four verses to it. So yeah, he wrote this back, or he sang it back in the 70s when he was doing a lot of wandering around, and really when he was very addicted, I think back then, to heroin, and very depressed, even suicidal. I mean, he was in the McLean Psychiatric Hospital when he was 18, 16, and just had a rough time of it back in the 70s. But he's been sober since 1981, and he talks a lot about how his music sort of saved him in a way. So this is an old song called Wandering.
All right, brother, take it away.
I've been wandering early and late, New York City to the Golden Gate, and it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering. Been in the army, I've worked on the farm. All I got to show is the muscle in my arm, and it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering. Ma, she died back when I was young. Daddy took to stealing, he got hung, and it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering. Snakes in the ocean, eels in the sea. Let a red-headed woman make a fool out of me, and it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering. I've been wandering early and late, New York City to the Golden Gate, and it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering. No, it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering. I've been wandering early and late, New York City to the Golden Gate, and it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering.
Great job, brother.
Thanks, man.
My camera's so delayed. For the ones watching, I ordered a camera today because everything is out of stock. Man, this is really delayed. Like, I'm still looking. There we go. Now I'm talking. But everything is out of stock and stuff like that, so my camera's messing up. So I have to get this fixed. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the depression and addiction that James Taylor went through. Because, to be honest, we're all in a state of hot mess, I like to call right now, for all of us.
Yeah.
And, you know, like last 2 days, I've spent all day alone, right? So we all get in this mindset. So let's talk a little bit about James Taylor's addiction. And you said tell us a little bit more about, you know, what kind of things that he went through. I know that him and Jimmy Buffett were good friends during all that time period, and Jimmy didn't help him very much with his addiction. But just share a little bit.
Not with all his songs about rum and all that stuff.
Yeah. And the other stuff. But anyway.
Well, James, you know, he talks about, oh, I'm really sorry here. I've got a visitor. Hang on. Not very professional here. This is my runaway kitty that decided to come home. All right. You know, his dad, as I mentioned, was the head of the medical school, and he talks openly, like the song Walking Man is about his dad. He writes a lot of songs about his dad. And I'm a therapist, and I think that I thought a lot about James's music and how he's worked out his own dysfunction dysfunctional family stuff in music, like Walking Man, stumbling around drunk down on the farm. You know, those lyrics are very powerful. But he came from a strong line of addiction and depression. And he talks about moving to New York City when he was 16, 17, and somebody introduced him to heroin. And it instantly made all of his anxiety go away. He talks about that's like, wow, this is amazing. I can put a needle in my veins and make everything go away. The problem with heroin, of course, is that you got to keep taking more and more of it, and eventually it kills you. It's likely to kill you. And so one of the stories that I love that he tells is being in New York City in an apartment, broke, strung out, and he called his dad in Chapel Hill. And he said, I'm really bad. I'm sick, and I think I'm going to die. And his dad, this was back in the late 60s, his dad said, don't leave your room. I'm coming for you right now. And his dad got in his car, and he drove all the way from Chapel Hill, North Carolina to New York City, got James, brought him back home, put him in the hospital where he was detoxed. And I don't know, that just touches me, that just thinking about a father's love like that. Even though his dad struggled with his own addiction, he loved James so much that he said, don't go anywhere. And he drove all night long and rescued him and brought him back. And I just think that's such a cool story. And so James continued to struggle, I think, through the 70s. And then finally, and he lost his marriage with Carly Simon. But finally, something happened in 1981, and he got sober and clean and got really into fitness and health. And, and he's 72 years old now and sounds great, So I'm very happy that he got sober back then. I can't imagine what this world would be without James Taylor.
Absolutely. I think that this is a great segue to the next song because he's seen fire and he's seen rain, right?
Well, you know what, Dean? I'm going to change it up on you, man.
Oh, did you change it up on me?
We've been singing depressing songs. I think I'd like to close out with a hopeful song. Is that okay with you?
Hey, absolutely, brother. What are you going to do?
I'm going to do Shower the People.
Oh, that's my other favorite song. Okay.
Yeah, mine too. Sorry about that.
No, that's perfect. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the last one I'll do. Love this song, Shower the People. You can play the game and you can act out the part, though you know it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother and sister and brother, if it feels nice, well, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if we only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. What you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone? Won't you tell somebody the way that you feel? Can feel it beginning to ease. I think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel. It's always getting grease. It's better to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if we only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if we all will.
Dude, I wish there was no lag. I was harmonizing with you like nobody's a business back there. Oh, what a great song. I'm glad you changed, even though I do love Fire and Ice, but Fire and Rain, excuse me, I just said ice. Blake, I can't tell you enough. Everyone has just been commenting like crazy over here.
Oh, thanks, Nikki.
She is just, everyone has just been so thankful for you. You are gifted, without a doubt. I think someone even just said that. You're so gifted at showering love. Absolutely. I said that earlier. Blake's, his personality and his smile is contagious. Absolutely. So maybe we should like ask everyone out there. Blake will be back again. Hopefully, I haven't asked him, but I'm sure he will be. What would you like for him to? Who would you like for him to cover next? So comment down below. So we'll give Blake some suggestions on maybe some things that you'd like for him to do. Someone just put kiss. I'm just joking. They did not put that. I was just being funny.
Well, I have a suggestion. I think I mentioned this to you. My other musical hero is John Denver.
Right. Which,
yeah.
yes.
Along the same vein as Jason.
You have to do Country Roads again. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Blake, we've run a little bit over time. Thank you for everyone that's watched. I'm going to ask Blake to go and hang out for a little bit. I'm going to talk to him after our show. Blake, anything you want to say to everybody before I send you backstage?
Yeah, just thanks for tuning in, you guys. Hang in there. We're getting through this. Dean, thank you for doing this. I love watching your students, and I know that you're trying really hard to keep the music playing this way, and so I just appreciate you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother. Hey, I just saw David. If you go back and actually can go to YouTube at James Dean Rocks Music School, and you'll see the broadcast we did with Blake doing John Prine. So he's already got that one on there. With that said, I am James Dean. I'm the owner of James Dean Rocks Music School. If you're watching this, we appreciate you guys being on here. If you have any artists, or if you're an artist yourself, you'd like to come on to this James Dean Rocks show, would love to have you guys. This is kind of new for me. This is my third week of trying this, and besides having issues with my camera today, I think everything's going great. So with all that said, you guys are amazing, and thank you for watching, and we'll catch you again Tuesday night with George Moulton and Wednesday night with Grayson Jenkins. Peace out. Dude,
good stuff.